it's also about time that we take this to a different direction. Wanted to talk about racism in the UK. Guys, like 109,000, like almost 110. So these are all racially motivated. Yeah, going to, I guess, speak about my experience of this. I've got one that comes to mind very recently. Like where I lived, it was pretty white dominated. So there was a few of us. There was me, like my neighbors on the street that I lived at, and the kids were playing outside. We were playing football, right? There's a neighbor who used to park his car on the road, and this neighbor used to wash his car every single weekend. Bearing in mind, there was so many of us, he didn't even think to ask or at least want to know what has happened, but he pointed the finger straight at me to say, yeah, it was you who hit the ball at my car. Why is that? Sometimes you do have to wonder. You do have to wonder everything you can imagine. Imagine just hearing that from a young child, not even an adult, a young child. I thought, Lord, the UK has a problem. And we are back again. It is the final episode. We have made it. Round of applause, guys. Woohoo! We've made it. Like episode 10. What the hell? What the helly? Like, we're actually here. And I never thought, we'd make it this far. I think to be 10 episodes in is something to be proud of. I'm very proud of myself. I've seen myself as I've been watching back, each episode. Every time the episode goes live, I'll always go back, watch it, trying to see what I've done right, what I've done wrong, what I can improve on, as well as taking the feedback from you all. I'll always go back to check the episodes. So to be saying that right now is so incredible. I am super happy. We've actually made it, and yeah, here's to more episodes. Here's to more incredible things. Here's to a journey that we're all going to embark on together. If you've been here from the start, I know we're only in a couple of episodes in. We're still quite small, but we're growing as time's going on. I can see there's growth. Let's continue to grow. Let's invite a new audience. Let's have new people here, and not just us. So yeah, we are here, and we're here to stay. Being B is here, and B is here to stay. Wow. So that is episode 10. And to sweep, so this will be our final sweep of the house before, we're closed. Just kind of want to explain a little bit about what's going to happen in terms of, when we're going to be back. That's at the moment is not set. So make sure you are following on the social media platforms, TikTok and Instagram, to keep up to date with what's happening. So stay tuned, stay around, keep watching out. Any updates will be going on there. So stay active. Make sure you are following. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on what we have coming up. Like I said, as for the date, there isn't a specific date as of yet that is set, but I'll keep you all informed. Once we have a date, you'll of course be informed. You'll be the first to know. You'll be the first to know. So make sure you are following on TikTok and Instagram. Sweeping the house, just a few things. So when I started this, I wanted to, when I thought of the whole idea, I wanted to create something that was of good quality, and but would bring something insightful at least. I want you to get to know me. I know I'm still quite new to this, and I'm trying to get used to it. I'd like to think from where we started until now, you've seen a massive improvement in how I'm able to like sit in front of the camera and speak, because guys, it's not easy. I tell you that. Like, it is not easy at all. It's been difficult, and I've been getting used to it. Slowly getting used. There's definitely room for improvement. I'll tell you that for free. There is definitely room for improvement. there. But we've made it 10 episodes in and many more to go with many, many great people to have on here, which I'm going to talk about very soon. Yeah, just how I'm feeling about everything. No, like I've said, there's been an improvement in how I come across. Well, I feel like, anyways. So we'll just keep on improving, keep on moving forward, keep on getting better, and going back to what I was saying. So when I started this podcast, I really wanted to create something that was of good quality, and for you to take, for you, a place where, like I've always said, I want to this to be a space for us to grow. This is like it's like an intimate space where we can, have conversations, have maybe these difficult conversations, and you can get to know me along the way as well, and know how I work, and would eventually start having people on here to also, tell their stories, speak their truth, and see what real people are like. I want this to be a space for anyone to just speak their truth, say what they have to say, and that is it. It's as simple as that. No, nothing fancy, nothing too crazy. It's just as simple as that. And that has always been the aim, and will continue to be what we aim for and hope to achieve. By God's grace, we are going to do exactly that. So let's keep on pushing. Here's to being B, growing and just getting better and better and better and better. And what else in terms of the house sweep? So yeah, so I wanted to record this in seasons. I know sometimes when I watch other podcasts, and I'm like, damn, like how, because turning up every week can be, it's difficult. Like sometimes you're gonna have a mental block. Like you literally run out of ideas. You don't know what to say. And I was thinking, what if I ever encounter that? That was one of the reasons I decided to record in seasons. So this is the first season, which has pretty much just been solo episodes, solo videos. You just hearing my opinion on things, and we're gonna wrap it up like that. I now want to start, speaking to people as well. That's always been the aim. I wasn't sure again when I would start having guests on. I've had people like reach out, people message and ask, oh, we'd love to sit down and have a chat. And, we're trying to sort things out in the background, behind the scenes, trying to settle things, arrange things so that it all happens smoothly. And as soon as that's all in place, I'm definitely arranging to have these people on the pod. I hope the more people we have on here, the more we grow as well, the bigger the guests are going to be. I'm super excited for, the people that have already reached out. I think that's a huge compliment. I take that as a massive compliment for someone to reach out to me and be like, bro, I want to sit down with you. I want to have a chat. Or I do this. Or I've got like a business partner and this is what we do. Would love to sit down and have a chat with you. I just think like, this is crazy. Like, are you hearing yourself? Like, that is insane. The fact that you want to sit with me, like, are you being for real? It always baffles me. So I'm like, are you sure that you really want to sit down and chat? And it's such a huge compliment. I take that so personally, and really appreciate the fact that you can literally just sit there and feel like you want to interact with me. And I'm like, yeah, I would absolutely love to sit down and have a chat. So thank you to all the people that have already reached out. We're definitely going to make this happen. We're definitely going to sit down and have conversations because, I'm so all about people, all about having conversations. I'm all about growing, learning from other people. And that's exactly what this is all about. And it's what we're going to do. We're going to make it happen. And once everything's all in place, we're going to sit down, have those very important conversations, and just share our opinions and learn from each other. So I can't wait. And that's one thing I'm really, really looking forward to. You're going to see so many different types of people, people from all different backgrounds, business owners, my friends, eventually they're going to all start coming on here. People who have interesting stories to tell, you know, anything and everything. Nothing, like I always say, nothing is off limit here. We're going to have those chats, we're going to have those conversations, and we're going to have all the guests. I have people that I really would love to also sit down with, which we're going to try our very best to make this happen and have those conversations because you're not going to only learn from me. I've spoken a lot. I've yapped. I've been talking a lot. It's also about time that we take this to a different direction, always looking for ways to grow and evolve. And that is what Being Be is all about. It's a community of brave, bold, and brilliant people. That is it. That is our motto. That is simple. It's as simple as that. That was the, I guess, a moment of reflection there, kind of sweeping the house as we normally do. So let's get into the episode for today. This week's episode is a very interesting one. As you already know, as I'm about to say, this one is personal to me. Duh. Surprise? No. I hope you're not surprised because a lot of the things that I do, try to talk about, I try to at least relate it back to anything that I've experienced. And if I've not, then just give advice. This one is very, very personal to me as well. And yeah, so wanted to talk about racism in the UK. Yeah, just to touch on my experience, living here in the UK. Like I said, I've pretty much lived my whole life and grown up here. So I've kind of known nothing. I've not this has been like my life, my reality, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. What has it been like? Have I ever been subject to racism? And we're going to, of course, dive into that. I'll give you a few examples of times where I've experienced, I wouldn't say racism, I'd say more microaggressions, which I was not aware of at the time. But now, being the age that I am now, I look back at and I think because I think about this all the time. I think about this a lot, and it's like, oh damn, it's like you were subject to a lot of microaggressions which you were not aware of at the time, and it's like that's wrong. That is so wrong. Like the fact that um people have been so comfortable to say those things. Again, sometimes it can come from ignorance as well. It's a case of you're ignorant to the fact that what you're saying is actually a microaggression. You might not know that, but you're just ignorant to the fact. And ignorance is also, a big problem because I think that happens a lot as well. And we kind of tend to allow it to be uh kind of like brushed past, and then we don't think too much of it. And if we don't really put a stop on this is something that will continue. I know racism is no it's huge. It's a huge topic. It's a huge issue that a lot of people of color go through and experience. Black people go through, where here in the UK, where anywhere, not just here in the UK, but my experience is going to be based on what I've experienced here in the UK, but anywhere around the world, that anyone can go through that same experience. So let's get into it. But before we do, I just wanted to, when I was preparing for this episode, I know this is the last episode of the season, but I was just looking at just having a little read as well to see some. I came across some interesting statistics, which I kind of just want to read read out to you, which was more than shocking to me, to be quite honest. I couldn't believe what I saw. So I'm just going to read these statistics. Gosh, English. Read out to you, and then I'll just go on to talk about my experience of microaggressions, and then we'll just move on and go on to the and keep moving, yeah, with the episode. These stats were from the Stop Hate UK website that I found, which I'm just going to read out. So, stat number one: 109,843 racially motivated hate crimes are committed. So these were the number of this is the number of racially aggravated offences that were recorded. This was in 2021 to 2022. Guys, like 109,000, like almost 110. But like, can you imagine? So these are all racially motivated crimes. Like, how scary is that? Like, that is so scary. I was reading this and I was thinking, wow, but this is only a minority as well. Um this isn't a reflection of everything. So I know that this number is even small. I'm sure that number is a lot higher. And I was reading it and I thought, damn, that's crazy. But like I said, these stats are from the Stop Hate UK website, which just having a quick read, and I found this. And then 43% of those hate crimes reported to Stop Hate UK are racially motivated. So 43%. So out of the 109,000, 43% of them are racially motivated. That's like almost 50%, almost half. There was a 19% increase in racially motivated hate crimes, which were reported in the same, following that year as well. Which, like, you just think a 19% increase, like, mind blown. And when I was reading that, I was just thinking again, like I've briefly mentioned, these are only things that have been reported. Now, what about the things that we've not seen, things that happen which aren't reported? Can you imagine the number, how much that number would increase? It's quite sad. It's really sad. Not quite. It's very sad. If you ask me, so I just think that's insane. But that was it. That was just kind of like a starting point. I kind of wanted to just outline those stats before we kind of continue. Yeah, going to I guess speak about my experience of this. I've got one that comes to mind very recently. Again, these are things that when I remember at the time, I didn't actually think were that bad or didn't think anything of it. But it's only now that I look back and think the fact that these things happened to me and I was never aware is so insane. It is so insane. But something that comes to mind, I remember I was actually a little bit younger. Where I used to live back home, um, we there was a few of us. We were playing outside. So I lived just for a bit of context as well. I lived in a very in a white area, really. Yeah, where I live, there was very like little black people. Um, like where I lived, it was pretty um white dominated. So yeah. Anyways, so there was a few of us. There was me, like my neighbors on the street that I lived at, and the kids were playing outside, as you do back then. As kids used to play outside, which was of course the best time to be alive. So I always say to this generation, you missed out on the best time to be alive. But yeah, we were just playing, and we were playing football, right? There's a neighbor who used to park his car on the road, and this neighbor used to wash his car every single weekend without a fail. Every Saturday, you would I think he almost had like something like there was I don't know. Anyways, maybe he had OCD or something, I don't know. But every weekend without a fail, it was always a Saturday. you'd always see him out there. He would wash his car. His car would sparkle every day. So he washed his car, and we were all playing. There was a group of us. I was the only black person in the group. Everyone else was white. And a ball got kicked at the car. And this was not me. The ball got kicked at his car by one of the other kids. And you know what happened? He was pointing the finger at me. He was like, "Oh, you were the one that hit your ball at my car." Bearing in mind, there was so many of us. He didn't even think to ask or at least want to know what has happened. But he pointed the finger straight at me to say, "Yeah, it was you who kicked the ball at my car." Why is that? Sometimes you do have to wonder. You do have to wonder. And then when he, found out it actually wasn't me, that's when he was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry." And I know that time, because I was still so young, I was so like innocent and didn't really understand what was going on. But my parents were so mad. Like, my parents were like, "Why is it the person you point your fingers at is our child?" Whereas whilst they were playing, he wasn't the only person there. There were other kids there as well. But you decide to point fingers at him, and my parents were so mad. But that was like, when I look back now, I think, oh, that's so crazy. Another situation, a little bit more recent as well, was where I work at the moment. This situation had me baffled. Like, I was so gobsmacked, I could not believe what I was hearing. So I had a call from a customer, and picked up the phone, do the usual, introduce yourself, and I introduced myself with my, as you would, my name, my full name. If you don't know already, well, my name's Bienvenue, and that means welcome in French. So introduced myself. The call came through, and the first thing that this customer said was, "I don't want to speak to you. I want to speak to an English person." Guys, I literally, like, I was on the phone and I literally froze, because I thought to myself, "Am I hearing this right? Like, did I hear this correctly?" I could not believe what I said. And he was like, "I want to speak to an English person." I literally froze. I didn't know what to say or how to respond. It took me literally a minute to like come back to my senses, and then I was like, "Okay, first of all, you've called up and you're speaking to me. I am the person who's speaking on the phone to you right now. So how can I help you today?" Because that's essentially, there's like a script we have to follow. So when customer calls, "Hi, my name's blah blah blah. How can I assist you? Is everything okay?" All of that jazz. So I was like, "Okay, you speak to who you're put through to, and in this case, you're speaking to me. So how can I help you?" And this customer was like, um. "You're not English because your name isn't English, and I really want to speak to an English person." And I had to place the customer on hold, and I went back to my manager and I said, like, "I've just had a call come through. This is what's happened. I don't know how to react." Bless my manager. She was just she was just as shocked as I was. She couldn't believe. She was like, are you on the call?" And I was the customer still on the line. And I was like, "Yeah, the customer's still on the line. Like, what do I do? Should I transfer it?" Like they said, because they wanted to speak to someone else. And she was like, "B, no, 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 no. First of all, that is so unacceptable. That customer, you are the one who has they've come through on the call to you, so you're going to deal with it. You're going to help them. If they don't like this, then they should go somewhere else." Unfortunately, that is not how it works, because that is so wrong. I can't believe, like, she literally said, "Are you sure like that's what this?" I said, I'm shocked. I don't even know what to say. Do I go back to the customer?" She was like, "Yes, you're going to go back to the customer, and you're not going to tolerate that. Explain that you're not going to tolerate this at all, and continue with the call. And if they don't like it, they can take the money and go elsewhere, because that is not acceptable. We're not going to tolerate this at all. And if they continue, you have to terminate that call, and then we're going to have to deal with it." Went back to the customer, and when I went back on the phone, as soon as I said hello again, and they heard my voice, immediately terminated the call. And I thought, you're so lucky you ended that call. The way I was, I had to hold myself back. That's not me. It's actually not me to like um give people that reaction. So I went back on the call, and luckily the customer ended the call because I was ready to give you a little bit of like I was ready for that. But that's not the way to go about things, luckily for her. I hope where she's gone. Anyways, let me know. Let's let's send it there. And yeah, that was that. When that call was finished, I had to just sit down, take a bit of a moment, and just think, like, there's actually people in the world like this. Like, crazy, crazy. Okay, and there's another story. So, guys, the way that I was remembering what when I was planning this, the way that these things were coming to my head was shocking in itself because it's like I didn't realize them at the time, but now when you kind of sit back and think about it, it just comes to your head. I just think, oh, this is terrible. Like this is bad, and these are experiences that like so many people go through that you don't hear about, and it's just really sad. It's really really sad. So yeah, the other story, this one again. Sure, you're gonna be shocked by this one, but this came from so I was at my cousin's house. I remember I was getting ready to go to I was getting ready to go out for one of my friends' birthdays, and we'd planned like a meal. So I was ready to go, I was dressed, and as I was leaving my cousin's house, there was like some kids playing outside. They were just there playing, and when I stepped out, I can't believe I'm saying this. I stepped out. A child came up to me. These were young white children. Came up to me and they was like, yo, N word. Yo, what you telling me, my N word? And I was like, what? I said, huh? I could not believe my ears. I had to let this person. I just heard and carried on walking. I just looked at the children, looked away, and continued to walk. And it made me think, like, how are these kids so comfortable to throw this word around so loosely, so easily, so comfortably without feeling any type of way? I just kind of had to remind myself, like, it's all down to ignorance. I think I would, I don't know. It also starts in the house as well, education in the house, and this is why education is really important, especially in the house. Educate your children like this is not right. So if your child is so comfortable to throw the N word around so loosely and so comfortably, what does that say about you as the parent, the guardian, who's meant to be, guiding this child and, showing them what is right or wrong? That for me, that just tells me that this seems like normal in the household. For the child to be comfortable, that must come from somewhere. That must come from the household, from the parent who would either be comfortable for their child to say such thing. And yeah, the reason I didn't really react to that, I was just kind of like, this is ignorance, more on the parents and not the children. Not that it makes it okay, because it doesn't, because it's not right at all. But again, I was just so gobsmacked. I was so shocked. Everything you can imagine. Imagine just hearing that from a young child, not even an adult, a young child. I thought, Lord, like there's a problem. The UK has a problem. Like that is a huge problem. And that was that. I continued with my business. I remember I told my friend about it, and, like my cousins, and they were just like, They couldn't even believe it. And in situations like it's just such an awkward, it's so weird and so strange that there's people out there that feel so comfortable um, with saying things like this and are not even aware of what they say. They're not aware at all. Lack of education, a lack of you know awareness and a willingness to learn is really where I think the problem is. And just one final story. I know the flowing, flowing in, but oh, actually, ooh, no, this one again, this one's more so a microaggression as well, in the sense that we have certain features. You know, I I've had people they'll say, or maybe not even, it's not even meant, it's not even a malicious thing. It's just a lack of awareness is really all I bring it down to. Lack of awareness, potentially lack of education as well, not enough learning, and they're not aware that these things have meanings, although you might not think that at the time that you're saying it it's bad, or it's just, oh, it's just banter, it's just a joke, like it's nothing serious. But it's very, very serious. And just putting yourself in a you know putting yourself in that situation, you've got to think like, how would the person feel? Even growing up in school, I've had like being told, oh, like this is so different about you, like, oh, your nose is big, or this and that, this feature of you is different. You kind of just hear it and think, oh, sometimes even it doesn't occur to you. You don't even notice these things until someone makes that apparent to you. Then you start to question, and you're like, oh, I never actually noticed that about me. But just education. I think education is key. Educating yourselves is not our job to educate you. It is, you know, essentially your job to educate yourself, and knowing as well, and recognizing like the privileges that you have, um, and being aware of that, being aware of the speaking about having these difficult and uncomfortable conversations as well is really important, because if you're having these conversations and you feel uncomfortable about them, that says a lot. It shouldn't be uncomfortable. It should just be a conversation that we can openly have, and and learn, and be able to just end this. I know it's something that's not gonna, of course, and it's gonna take a lot, but at least let's work towards making a change, and the world will be a better place. There'll always be bad things in the world, but let's work towards making a change. Um, and I think I'm gonna close that there, and we'll just go on to this week's Be Reddit. As always, it's gonna be on theme, so let's see what we have this week. Right. So, growing up in the UK as a black woman means constantly being reminded you are other, and I'm tired of pretending it's normal. I, 30-year-old female, was born and raised in the UK. I have a British passport, a British accent, vast knowledge of EastEnders storylines from the 2000s. I'm not an EastEnders fan, but I do actually. I used to watch Hollyoaks a lot. Not anymore though. I really tried to get back into it, but just ain't got time. Anyways, let's continue. But somehow I'm still made to feel like a guest in the only home I've ever known. I've been asked, where are you really from? More times than I can count. And when I say London, they look disappointed, like I'm hiding something. If I push back and ask where they're from, suddenly I'm being aggressive. I've had people touch my hair without asking, make jokes about me not getting sunburnt, and talk about knife crimes like it's somehow my culture's responsibility. I've walked into shops and had a security guard trail me. I've been followed in a Tesco Express whilst buying a meal deal after work in a suit and heels. Proofs in the pudding there, guys. Look, these are real things. Like, this happens. This is actually not even shocking to me because I've also experienced times where I've gone into shops. You're walking in, it's as if all eyes are on you. It's like you're kind of constantly feeling on edge because you're different. There's a stereotype attached to this, and it's like you're literally there. All I want to do is go and buy bread and milk, and all of a sudden you're chasing me around the shop. You're following me. You're trying to find what is he going to do? Is he going to steal something? Is he going to grab something and walk out? More times I've got food at home. I just want bread and milk and I want to go home. And it's like, this is not shocking at all. But let's continue. Right. So in uni, I was the only black girl on my course. I heard the N word in banter too many times. In Freshers Week, a guy tried to guess where I was from based on my skin tone: Ghana, Jamaica, Nigeria, something exotic, like I was a cocktail menu. Even now, working in a supposedly progressive industry, I'm still the only one who looks like me in most meetings. I'm expected to speak on behalf of diversity, but never really included in anything that matters. My ideas get ignored until someone else repeats them in a posher accent, usually. And I'm not even sure what hurts more, the racism itself or the gaslighting that comes with it. People say it's not like America here, or at least it's better than it used to be, or the classic, don't be so sensitive, it's just a joke. But it's not a joke when it chips away at you every day, when you feel your stomach tighten before entering certain spaces, when you have to calculate whether standing up for yourself is worth being labeled difficult or angry. I love this country. I love its sarcasms, its dry humor, its pubs, its music, its messiness. I wish it loved me back in the same way. I'm not writing this for sympathy. I just needed a place to say it plainly. Being black and being British means constantly proving you belong in a space that should have never doubted it. Yeah, I think this one's quite, I think this should be a quick one because I've kind of touched on a lot of the points as well. A lot of the things have been raised there. And it's just like you've said, you not looking for sympathy, you just wanted to, just say it. And it is by saying and by speaking out that these things can be stood up for. And just speaking out loud also allows people to understand like some of the things that they do say or a lot of the things that they say are not right, they're wrong, not good at all, and we just need to be educated. And the fact that I think there's this um idea that a lot of like the racisms that take place are in America, so the comparison there to say that it's not um like it is in America, it's the UK, is another thing. I just think racism happens everywhere. It's not just America, it's not just the UK, it's everywhere. So for that to be even a thought, only because, you know, racism is more overt in America and then less in the UK doesn't make it right. These microaggressions take place. It happens in the workplace. It happens a lot more than you would think. So it's really sad. I just hope that, people educate themselves and really, look within, have these uncomfortable conversations, or even if you need just help, or if you're like, I don't know where to start, it's like, can you help? We can guide, but it's not for us to do that work. It's for you to do the work. We can guide, we can help, we can say, okay, have those conversations. If we can get to a point where we're comfortable enough to have these conversations, you know, things can hopefully get better, and that's all we can hope for, I guess. Really, there's not much. Well, there is a lot I can say, to be honest. Um, I've already touched, like I said, on a few of them in my own personal examples. So I do get it. Things like going into shops and feeling scared in the workplace, your ideas not being heard until someone else repeats it, not being promoted, and there being the lack of representation and for your your group, your ethnicity, and your the group, the ethnicity you belong to. It's There's so much, and there's so much work that is yet to be done, which I really hope with in the generation to come that is something that does change, and that we can live in a much happier place. And that is it. So we're gonna actually wrap it up here, guys. That is it. Episode 10 of Being B, over and out. We're done. It's all wrapped up, and I'm so happy to see where we are now. I'm really excited to see where we're going to be, where we're going to go, and I can't wait to continue this journey with you all. I again thank you all so much for all of your support, from the very start of this and your continued support. It genuinely means the world to me. It does not go unnoticed. Trust me, I see everything. I I see it all. I see all your messages. I'm really, really grateful for all of your support, and I can't wait to see what this new season brings. This new chapter. Like I said, I'm gonna start having guests eventually, and let's just continue. Let's continue to take this further and further and further up. And I can't wait to have you back for season two. This also gives you time to go back and watch the episodes you've not yet had time to watch, catch up, so that when we're back for season two, we're back bigger and better. We're back with fresh ideas, we're back with, new concepts. It gives us time as well. And again, I wanted to have this break because it's going to allow me to go back to the drawing board, look at what went well, how we can make this better. We're all about improving, always looking at making this better. And we're going to be back feeling a lot more energized with more energy and more interesting things to talk about. So I cannot wait. By the time we're back as well, I'll have because I've got my graduation coming up. As I said, I'm planning some interesting trips. Hopefully that do happen. And me, if I need to go away by myself, trust me, I'll be going away. So birthdays coming up, graduations coming up, holidays, Christmas. Hopefully we'll be back before Christmas, but again, I'll keep you posted. Make sure you're following on all the socials. Can't wait to tell you about everything that I'll be doing and just get you back up. So thank you for your support. But before I do end this as well, there's someone I really, really want to thank who has been, I don't know how I can describe this woman. She's been she's been everything that I could have needed. I think there's one thing, like I said, there is one thing, understanding and believing in your vision, but for somebody else to also take and accept that and treat it as if it's theirs is incredible. And this woman has been, oh, she's just been there. She's gone above and beyond. She's done things that I have not even asked for. She has literally treated this like her project. I am so, so thankful. I am so happy to also, announce that she has proudly sponsored this podcast, this episode of the podcast. And this one is a special one for me. To have her as my first sponsor of the episode means the world. I could not thank her enough for the work that she does. So everything that you see here, guys, this is all her. This is the hard work that she's doing behind the scenes. When we started this, I knew, because when I came to her with this idea, she just got it. And I was thinking what the hell? How is this making sense? This makes sense to me. I have this vision in my head. I have this plan. And as soon as I presented, she was like, yeah, let's get to work. Let's do this. And I could not thank her enough. I don't think I will ever stop thanking her for the work. So Racer Photography, Racer, my producer, my photographer, my video, everything. She is so incredible. Guys, make sure you are following her. Gonna tag her below. The link's gonna be below. Make sure you're following her. The work that she does is incredible. I honestly, it's not just me saying it for the sake of saying it. I am genuinely saying this because I mean it. You know, when we eventually start having other sponsors on the show, it's not going to be people that I just want for the sake of sponsoring the show. There will be people who do things that I genuinely, am passionate about, things that I genuinely want to promote. So the fact that she is the first sponsor of this show is just so special to me, and it's something that I will always remember. And Race to Photography, may God, I always say this. I always say, I pray, my prayer is that God continues to bless the work that you do. May it continue to go forward. May you reach heights that you never even thought would be possible to reach. May God honestly guide you to greatness. I pray that, I know that you work so incredibly hard, and may all the hard work that you put be rewarded by the Almighty Himself. You keep on moving forward, because what you do is honestly incredible. So, guys, if you ever need anyone to, if you've got an event coming up, you need a videographer, you've got a photo shoot for anything, I couldn't recommend her enough, because she's incredible, so professional as well. Let me add that one there, because professionalism is everything. And yeah, so thank you for sponsoring this podcast, this episode of the podcast. And yeah, we'll be back again for season 2, and that is over and out. We are out, guys. That is it.